So if I can conclude on that, so if it wasn't for this general, Afrifa would not have been on the list.
No.
And so Afrifa's name on the list was not your preference.
No. I don't think... No, when we compiled the list, none of us had him in mind. I told you what had happened. It wasn't too well. I had him detained and sent to the hospital. When he recovered, I told Dennis to send him home. Afrifa was not part of it. But when you hold such a general in awe, you're just a young officer, thrust into a situation like this, and people have to go, and he tells you something like this, he would know. Yeah. And it's not illogical.
Right. Do you regret it?
No comments yet.
Hello and welcome to the program Ghana Speaks. My name is Enoch Ijiru. As always, we bring you this every weekday. To my beautiful Northern brothers and sisters, Sunana Enoch, or from Enoch, Bemawoniala Akwaba. In the Bobu Boom, Asembia Ebekawa Habiano, or ye opinion, yatiti, ya children. Ebufu bia ni na yewia e de bibia da beweyi na ni ade yankopon ase intinda ma hye me chewu ya ma ba beja han ya be kan nyama no tem isa ote na the whole thing ya be sha say fi Zanetor Rawlings na yewia yakọ oye trending issues and some okokodo e kula na ebien na for team the Jumezi on one for Hawk Investigations Limited. What you shim Obane de Bibilo Hall, Nemibilo Kodo, make a soon asemo Bibilo Hall in terms of that. A Jumebi na home na we when Nemibilo Kodu a dream na Oteto Nantase will be where you ordinary dagol at the China the same where you ordinary dagol the man was no you, but will be the digum the monk. A double chiwo no obi olugbe branches wa ha odemo wukun no so da ha no so gbegbe branches na epede Hawk team funo wo de chirima wa obeya ma okama obetete oyimpa na no ehu bebia ohye na ode na aba na ehu de morocco ni epe videos kura ani nia no obehwe wa ya mo enti oba no investigation hu nyama kotinza bomodin de ebefre Hawk investigation so 0202283252 from wana obama bibiala ayakama mo afi so onwana waye akwan roads na aze onwana wopede walk into them estate business Moses Sadan a wonya ahwea pepeni bi ahwea se me hu screen no ahwea pepeni bi pa no bomozen the ebefre aya company a mede one din mede ba mo aya wako fo one bibiala odedin one price is also odedin ya mpa hia wodi Sada academa edema na opropro na otutu na nyeme bi fifim leba eyi wona ahwe no aya da wa hwehwem odedin ankasa the master one bebe apepa inti bomozen the ebefre wako so 050 5714871 from one Obama Wimiaji. Aha, or Ghana Speaks. You train on the Yaba. I got your better.
In a world where darkness rules, a world without a law, a world where truth is hidden, this is the world where we shine our light to make it better so you can sleep. We are the hunters of truth. Hawk Investigation Company. We hunt for the truth. Call us 0 any day, anytime, and we will be there to hunt for your truth.
Aba. Yes, Enyama Eko Ebimbi or Dr. Zanetor Rawlings. And we've titled this Zanetor Rawlings or Dr. Zanetor Rawlings, do not open old wounds. It's best to let things stay the way they are. Nya ebe cheche enyemim. Ma obeya echne bi enye nya ebe ti ye ho ase. Understand this first point. Doc, the sins of a father will always be visited upon the son or the daughter. Likewise the mother as well. Boni biara anade adi ebia wo papa ana ma me obeye no. Mo be bia no. Ababa umbado. Aya natural thing. Aya da osire yimpe bia no oti da nyama no na ase. Onche biara inobi akaka will floor of parliament today. Daughter of murderer. So never poku yimpa. For me, that platform now yimpa kadamasa no was wrong. No matter what, no, that was not the right platform. Because away a noble house. Nani ababado. But yansha asamna anam do mayimpa no akaka damasemi. The daughter of a murderer. Yebeshe asama anamdo mayimpa no aka damasemi. Yansha ado anamdo e mayimpa no aka damasemi no. Na yasha damaden the beginning how the whole thing started. Emo anamdo ma obi aka the daughter of a murderer. Na yaba.
Kabiru, you have been in Parliament for how many weeks now? About this your 5th week. You, right. You have seen Zanetor Rawlings, right?
Yeah.
She carries herself in a very decent way. What do you think could have attracted this kind of attack to her?
Yeah, so thank you very much. I think that in this discussion, people have not asked this question. And what probably might have prompted that comment. Before I go, it's like the infamous Chua, who said Chua.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find ourselves in the same situation. This was what happened. The MP for Abokwa South, in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of J.B. Donkwa also, made a statement on the floor of Parliament. Like any nation, and my senior Bentil said, you need to eulogize the person. The person might have had his dark days, era in the history during which he might have committed one offense or other. But the moment was a solemn moment for us to eulogize the great leader, J.B. Donkwa. After the presentation, the MP for Tamale Central got up on his feet and the speaker gave him the opportunity. Rather than continuing in the manner of eulogizing the leader, he went against him, calling him a traitor, a CIA agent on the floor of Parliament.
Is that Mutala?
Mutala. That was what happened. And he premised it on the fact that we shouldn't be presenting J.B. Donkwa as if he was a saint. And that J.B. Donkwa was a CIA agent, and he referenced a book authored by an opinion shared by an author as his source. That created confusion.
A reference to that book on Newsfile about a decade ago brought trouble and got Gabriel Shridaku working out on set.
Exactly. So he repeated the same thing, and that sent the House in confusion. But sitting by Mutala was Zanetor Rawlings. People out of chaos were often Mutala's mic. Zanetor was the one owning the mic for him to continue. In other words, Zanetor was urging and abating in those orders. And the prophet was saying that if you stay in a glass house, don't throw stones. That was what prompted the comment by that person. Because those of us sitting down, I had it in my mind, like, look, Zanetor, don't seem to be cheering up Honorable Mutala in this discourse. Because if we are going to read the history, or if you are going to eulogize former President Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, someone in this house may be tempted to go into the dark days of President Rawlings. So this is what caused whosoever said that to make that comment. It was unfortunate. I will not sit down here to justify that particular comment. I will not in any day promote that a leader of that sort, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, despite all the good things he has done for this country, someone would reduce him to a murderer. So Zanetor has carried herself well, but that singular act, for me, sitting down, I felt and I still feel that she was aiding and abetting and cheering Murtala.
As you said, Dr. Murtala Mohammed was the one speaking.
Rightly so.
And some people were trying to put his microphone off.
Exactly so.
So she was helping, as you say, to make sure his microphone was on. That's not doing wrong.
No. You see, when a member of parliament is out of order, because the statement is clearly a statement that should not stand in the discourse of parliament, that you get up to eulogize a leader and the only word you could use is a traitor.
So you mean there was somebody who was raising a point of order?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Murtala was refusing.
Even the speaker was trying to rein in Murtala. But he was insisting on making his point. That created the chaos to start with.
Okay.
And so, but in all this thing, we've not asked what was the foundation, what might have caused a member of parliament to rudely.
Sa ehu. Baby adini fi odebe. Dr. Zanetor Rawlings must understand that being a child of a former president does not only come with the glory, it comes with the positives and the negatives as well. Again, also understand that the moment your father becomes a president or your mother assumes a higher political office, that person becomes a mother or let's say a father for all. The moment o papa ababa your man pay and o man bejina position bi a osun ankofo be hye na so abe maame ana papa adam obiara into yen wan goten o pepe bio amija hey me na baby obi nkan nche me de your man pay ne ba no look. But I will say nama Rawlings number no ban, you are who you are because of your father's name. The Rawlings name not the word no ana wama who you are. You are sure so there kafo anasa awala anade bibi da mukra nizi no ya na use because izin no oyada power wom into once na ajatum de me papa obayo man panyin osira sanso jitum de popo boni bia wo papa won no ade baka won anya papa no koten because you say ano sawenam na epodi baby sis a Dr. Zanetor Rawlings na background o man panyin. That statement no is in Rawlings na ba no kra no abama obi aka chodo mpocho abadi na pe wobedi do phone because ayo man pin na ba there was some special treatment to be ko biara wuzi no keke obi le bompo a na no ho because of papa eniza no ade maninity na for two teams there onye wan ko ten papa onye nyara yam papa it is a papa ya na wan ye ne ya na samba no wo hu osire wo twena adun gina do even the one correcting but wo twena adun gina do na papa no we tu me gina bebi a osire wo gina aja atum the former president never, but according to them NPR okay say time na Murtala Mohammed ya na adwen there like up and down koje na so speaker ruling out of ordinary na still mian mic don kasa etutu bigum. If you live in a if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Well, I name that glass denim about to turn baby no the people called you shima grind. The issue at the time also was about JB Dankwa. The mass one of them are Gabi Ochoda, Queen Bibi, or Walkie Offset, or Joy News Fano. Well, Yimpano, or he should be celebrated, or today, anyway. But no mind my MPP and this in Daniel Manyaman or Hoyan when you may PMU. Why am I not bad the MPP in this way? Strong enemies, but until them. Or your party, or your coup, may Panama join. In Sanka join the party A, no, be join party B. I found. Your different opinions. Maybe I do see in Buteo saying you do that. MPP for Buteo see when you do pour your money, and this Buteo pour your money. Obiano Buteno or ye, but methods na ye use no. Na corner ya for no different. But what could be no? Now we me Michael do. What ten about do no dey? Who will fu? Enti tia ma enam na wo bo wudin there. Rawlings number na ala ban ma obi abo bo nse ngoda ma wo no. The maso na boni biala wo papa ozi bia no. Ah yimpe de se ni hu me bi mo ken no. O se no so de so na agitum. Dam na identity. Enti nyame bi wo ho a o se de echa asedam. Was your father a murderer? Some will say yes, and others will say no. Also, I know quite no papa, no you wuzini, another no you wuzini. If you back at inyo to them, I find tobacco. If you back at I am pa taggy fancy, I say, yeah, I need to make a one. I am pa up a penny wudini, don't be back. If you back at Dabby. Facts another court bi anyo catch up pedo e wudini nti yen hwe dam seme bi ni de no call ana yen no call point be ni bi mu gina de kade bi na papa e wudini ana do yen wudini yen hwe dam nyame ni bi na wi ya ba won so wo kade wo papa onye wudini ana de onye murderer for two team the ones are o papa obedi oman no do no so embe do oman do tse ni baby na odwene ho a ama mi jai obi an ba ka ma me papa na me na man ki bia ho asa because obi anu a we hold the political office biara but our papa nankasa force no ho do ba be o man peyin ba na Ghana for kran won yi no na asem no man ba be di man no do nte be di man no do a o sire hu de enye father for one person and father for all nti bibiala for the bubble. Your father ordered for the execution of some heads of states. According to your father, he had a list of people who were going to be executed. He further even said, when they were making the lists, a free first name was not on it. The question is, was he God? Why that list? Yasha Asama, O Papa, okay. One-on-one with the legendary Kweku Sechiado on Asase Radio. Listen to what your father said.
And only 2? We thought it would be enough. But no. Approaching 1 week, we had no choice but to start rounding up the others. You know something? Those generals, this is all I can say for now, were not slated to be executed. Some others, the true proper ones, who should have paid that price, would run into 80 or more officers. Unfortunately, too many of the names belong to a certain ethnic group. Yeah. If we had to punish them with the executions, that's all people wanted. This thing was going to look like some ethnic cleansing. Correct. And it would just collapse and lead to uncontrollable situations. That's how come we had to load the fault on the heads of the commanders, including innocent ones, and to limit the number. If it had gone the other way, we could easily have lost control. And I think they've obviously heard me a few times talk about the innocent ones as well. Yeah. That's a painful one that one has to live with, because some of them were good people and didn't deserve to die. But that was the only way we could prevent the thing from getting out of hand. Yeah.
Why did you execute Afrifa? He was retired. He was in his village. What did he do wrong?
It might interest you to know that Afriva was being provocative, and I had him locked up. And he wasn't feeling too good. So I said, they should send him to the hospital. And after he recovered, I remember very well, and the gentleman who was keeping an eye on him was called Dennis. He was also in Achimota School, 1 or 2 years, 2 years ahead of me. He was with intelligence machinery then, that he had recovered. He's okay now. What do we? I said, let him go home. And yet, later, had to be brought back. You see what I mean?
Why?
One evening, I don't know if it was the evening before the departures had to take place. I went
In the executions.
Correct. I went to see a respectable general of ours. In fact, someone who just missed, had a close, what you call it. He just escaped, being hurt, or also being killed on that June 4th day. A man whose life was saved because I held him in very high regard. So I went to show him the list. I was in a very heavy mood. I remember where he sat, and I sat on, what do they call it, a couch. Those leather things people rest their feet
Yes.
on.
Yeah, the leather puff.
Correct. And looking away from him. And I'd given the list to him. And I was very, very heavy. I'm saying I couldn't hold back the tears because we had tried everything to prevent it. The executions of the commanders. And after about 2 minutes or so, I heard him behind me ask, and where's the rogue? Where's the rogue? The rogue's name is not on the list. So, this shocked me a little.
And did you know who he was talking about?
No. So I turned towards him, expecting him to say who he meant by that rogue. Because here you are, trying to prevent a situation with such a list. For him to be asking to an additional name, a name that was also not on the list, took me aback a little, But I turned towards him and looking towards him. And, so I was looking at him like, whose name is it? Who's the person? When he said, Afrifa. General Afrifa. So I'm still looking at him. Like, he will have to say more. And what did he say? He said Afrifa had been advanced a good load of money to wage a campaign against Champong's union government. Yes, at that time, things were pretty hot. And instead of using that money for that purpose, the money, incidentally, as he said, came from an establishment within an organization in the West. I don't want to say the name now. And, and instead of using that money to wage that campaign against the Champong, he used it, according to the general, to edge out, what's his name? Mr. Pawili, who I believe was the leader of the UNC at that time.
Correct.
He edged out Pa Willie and took over the leadership of that party. I cannot recall. I wasn't too much into the politics of those days, but that's what he said. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. Oh, well, in politics, I guess that could be sinful enough, I guess. So I kept quiet, collected the list, and went away and did what I had to do.
So did he add the name? Or did he ask you to then add the name?
It was obvious that his name would have to be added.
Okay.
Because we would have to make some serious sacrifices. And the guiltier you are, the easier it could be. And here you had a list of innocent good people as well who would have to die to save hundreds. I was sitting with a major friend of mine when we were discussing the move that had to be made, especially the one pertaining to dropping the bomb on a Champong. And in my conversation with this major friend of mine, or was he a captain then? What did he say? No, I said, a Champong in a way had corrupted so many good officers and, pushed out some of the other good ones.
Now you see, Etasama, oh papa, okay. There's a man who claimed responsibility for his actions, even defended it. Oh papa, or G2, there, Damu Kofa, and a less than no Kitano. Damu Kofono, no, so the way you won't wait, Juma. Damu Kofono, no, so the woo. A necessary sacrifice, and no, so the Obado. To the extent that Olekasa on national radio, or Kasim be there. Na Afrifa using on Calest no, General Afrifa using on Calest no. Them list no. As war compile list, na time a war shisha no. It's now can we be no shisha. On what basis no this shisha list no? As soon as you are young coupon nan in Sifu, and I don't know papa no young coupon. Time na no shisha list no. Them no okay. Obi ne nkwa why the urea or Bible na no nkwa okito obi ni say letter kaka watcho wado kwa kema soje no aka chende ma urea onko baby a why the yakunum yezen no wonkun because wa afa na you ready bon the man so na letter no okita papa according to papa na our list no nkofo won kwa nkofo won papa we gyanom won anka no won nananom no okitan na oni general bi ke share no kare na list de be Afrifa nizin ni obende na Afrifa nizin oni according to papa no oho ne pa de wa kare Afrifa on nizin kan because no you be na no hompo nsara amfan mo ahwan mo wa my medical treatment do no so what nizin kan sebio wo mesra mi bi sasam se yimpa no enye yankopon na tumbe na winya edo binizin ede kalest bon wo kokun ne se ede obinizin kalest ho no wanka sama order na okokun yimpa na ayabede wanka enjo da wudini ana wanka enjo da medra pointer if ibino wojina do no na anu enu masem ana okay na trema na America no nankasa so agitum. He called General Champon corrupt, which court described him as such, or described General Champon corrupt. Yet, he sat on national radio and TV to defend his execution. Who was a Champon? Yababa Enyama a Champon Oyedo very soon. But, Papa, I described the General Champon. Now, would abade or corrupt. Asama papa aka fa General Champion in this very interview no asama okani the General Champion na or corrupt dream na wa hyanema court ben na okade champion na or corrupt court ben also kase ya kede de wi ade no aba tribal ten no anhwe nie ya so wakere wo hwa ade ni din a obedwe no na wode war bi aba country no into that there are some good people had to die nini ano o papa ni no where to we interview ni some good people had to be sacrificed together with them so-called corrupt officers in the interview na them some no okay nini ano General Champion General Utuka a free from one from man and one bano. Was he thinking about the feelings of these people? Okay, academy seminar no all show feelings ana. No all do one feelings one but not nakoko, not the castle. Obiala and sol, one challenge obiala kashe. Obi ne papa, e no ko efe wiase. Se nya hwe anka nche no so a. Nu wu nature no, hwensama na eleka. Will defend why I don't call for no one blood not necessary. While we're doing some innocent lives. Like you never been called crampa. No, so they don't call free. Now call the one come. But more by ya, on some tribal war, on from Beniti. It was necessary for those people to be sacrificed. Words of your own father, Doc. So they take and someone call for can be in a demo. Now, then, bad General Champion and Casado. Papa na wo papa kede oil corrupt no between 72 to 78 no yan hwe nyeme bia pepe baye General Champion no documentary ama me gyan he na me lead team no. It was a collaborative worker between Hawk Investigations, Force 2 TV and the Couture Champion Foundation. Into this opportunity Emma me share top people pa a documentary that you copy into na cash documentary part 1, 2, 3 and 4. General Champion the beginning, General Champion the military, General Champion ne achievement and sign the execution ni niala or I page do ne tin sama okodo and sana I can send be aka kukwanan no is o place supervisory supervisory role but that documentary ni. Now General Champion dam dansoma na ehun fefe dam no dansoman fefe na ehun dam no General Champion ne sa na adwuma bi ne as at the time oye the mad no na West Africa ha one na why bi later on cross na Ivory Coast one all babado but the biggest city CC had done a whole township. Give you one example of a Ghanaian leader. We see a whole township. Dansuman, no one. A champion, General Champion, Nissan Juman Bini. Jowulu, Konakashi Mesa Wati. General Champion, Nissan Juman Bini. Not Legon. East Legon and the one can I say East Legon the Kahia Assassin or what? Yes, General Champion, Nissan Juma Ibinian. Weja Damia Wahaya. General Champion, Nissan Juma Ibinian. Bank for Housing and Construction. Eko feel kuma dam housing na ade na wo ho ko frodu na ade nia General Champion Nissan Juma Ibinian. Otse hu de osoro di bibi odisiwo ma obeya echimba wombre edan ne he na ade no rent dan a oyezen ti ode dan bank ne be abema nyama ya affordable no kwa fotu ajilu wetu esi dan with be am rent na aze papa no vision pa General Champion eko hwidie mu a police station owo ho I stand to be corrected see police station ma mi ndo owo ho a me kwa me kehwe no my police station kwa watete waye no General Champion no see the only police station wo hwidie efia ampem another efia kobi ampem senior high school recently will be yes a small plane be on offering room na de General Champion Ninsa ne adwuma. As for operation feed yourself, no feed your industry in the member do. National pledge now. Yes, so I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to God, my motherland. No. National pledge no. 1973 and in 1974. National anthem. God bless the homeland Ghana. That national anthem because I am going to you also Philip Behona or composing national anthem na don't know. I know Philip Behona version here left high the flag of Ghana. General Champion version of the Beno through one Michael Bojoy, he claimed a Ghanaian scientist to be based with Germany. I know not for the national pledge and national anthem, not General Champion due to. Until this day, he had to go bless a home Langana be a General Champion at time, no approve. The national anthem and national pledge, no, meaning General Champion. General Champion, next time. Ghana, Yanko IMF. That was the timer. Yen Tuyano, Adebe. Niniano, General Champion. General Champion at time. Golf na Mazda na Nasifuniano. I assemble Ghana ha. New plan transport no. General Champion I know do. No Baha. Wow, a great man like that. Was it oil corrupt? Afi so Mameka Damadi say who Daniel or my background. The only building na General Champion OC as a whole head of state no. And in one background no. This is the manner our papa oil corrupt. The saddest thing a woman that when cage na court no. Prosecutors no, judges all of them they were hooded. Wa hata to woneni. Wa money defense lawyer wa mo biara unlike opportunity and other man. What the man I papa no. Enyama na was sentence and no utuka to death. Okokun. I them 79 June around 9 something. Very sad event. In spite of them yemenya nature Oboni to po. All academics say interview no granted with Kukusi Chadu no or bring them one. This is the man your father described he was corrupt. Mr. Make sure there. Do not open old wounds. Because I'm sure here when summer back no a beshan kofu ebufu. Afi yente asembia afi so yente asama corporal adabuga okay adafa wa papa ho mo yemu hunde da mensama adabuga okay ni nia no ane no yan papa na yan maame no ahemfo no including wan kasa na wa papa no we hunde ni do se wo siwu no ade no tum the meter make kere no be ya de na police na dam na the police na court wo hu na dam do mebufu papa like as if the court na police station or no say be unjata na wo go because of power nti so what no be look courts and a police station na osha no ho no osha nyimpa kuno a ordinary kwana obi na minister of state or a president bi neba and or a president bi and as someone higher authority nti onimde wo du wan kote na obo consider no international nyimpa ni yem session. But one thing you should understand there, asasi do no hey enyemo botuma akọ the way you want, but nature has a way of paying evil with evil at the end. Nti a make there you punish why bona na the court hu na nyimenyen why bona police na obi le ya new program and wa ka asem na say mesiu may you dey ada nyimpa no wa ka cho ubibi dey and a day twada buga nsem wa keken no aso papa so don kokun bi no bi onye wudi no tun so bi don kokun bi a out the interview no
so things were going on all right until the judges matter came, and that is where the front was divided.
What happened to those judges?
Those judges were picked up under the instruction of Rawlings. I must be frank. There was a meeting, and almost all the members knew about that they were going to be arrested, except Brigadier Nunu Mensah at that time, Chris Atim, and Father Damois. The rest all knew that they were going to be arrested. But as for the killing, I cannot say it is Rawlings or it is another person who did it, or the wife. But then the keys to the car was given to Amatekwe by Rawlings' wife. And the car was stationed at Rawlings' house 2 weeks before the operation. So what evidence do you need again? And they were pick up. Curfew time will know that nobody goes out unless you are these paramilitary people, ambulances, or you have a curfew pass.
Right. Coming to talk you talking about the 4 judges. There are names
3 and 1.
Three
plus
judges
the retired
and
major.
then retired major. Jano, Jandu, Seko, Senya, Amatekwe,
and
America.
Yes.
Who later escaped into exile.
Yes.
They were used as scapegoats.
Yes.
But in your book, you also made mention that there was a news that came to Rawlings where he popped champagne.
Yes.
And started. Is that what triggered you to think he was involved in the killing?
Yes, I believe it. Because what I saw was that Brigadier Nunu Mensah, he told Amatekwe to go and release them. And then he said that he has dispatched them. You see?
Why were they killed?
They were killed because, like I said, this indemnity clause thing. After 4th June, Rawlings and his group said that nobody should appeal the sentences of the AFRC convicts. And this appeal court judges, 3 of them said, no, this was wrong. So let us look at it again. Even Dr. Leman was afraid to open that case. And then, when they look at it, some of them were freed or some of them were given lower sentences. And that made them to be offended that, hey, we have made a law. Why do you people go and do it? And that is why. As for the major was the one who was personnel. He was working at Jihawk, where Amatekwe was working at Tema, Jihawk. And he was picked up because when Amatekwe and the workers marched from Tema to Parliament House to 10 tables and they ate their lunch, you remember that a board of inquiry was formed, and that major was sitting on the board, and he recommended that Amatekwe and some of them should be sacked. And so Amatekwe, they added him. So it was this AFRC convicts which were, that was the main problem, and that's why they caught them. But in addition to that, other people too were going to be picked up. There were about 250. So Flight Lieutenant Odoy was the security coordinator stationed at State House. I went to him with Fanama. We talk about it. He said, no. This was not the meaning. They were going to be picked and then locked, not to be killed. But as to the killing, I'm saying that it came from Rawlings and the wife, you see, particularly because he popped champagne. Do you pop champagne to celebrate, or do you pop champagne when you are mourning somebody, the death of somebody?
Mentioned Achimota Forest. What happened there?
What happened was that people that they didn't like, they were sending them there to kill, you see. And then we'll be there, and then they will call us that some soldiers have gone to shoot people there. And then we'll go and see the graves. And then Rawlings will say we should keep quiet. There's another place called Gaddafi Camp by the airport. People were buried there. The last time I went to Ghana, I pretended as if I was a photographer. So I went to the Achimota Forest. Up to today, they haven't done anything because they know what is there. They preserve it. So I saw that they excavated some of the graves. But I know where some of these things are. So the point is I feel guilty that innocent people, not only soldiers, the 260 people who got missing, most of them are there and other places which they know, you see. That doesn't
Can
mean.
you tell me some of the other places?
If you are going to the range, you understand, some of them are there, that Teshi range area. And if you are going to the airport, especially the Air Force boys, they call that place Agege. They were buried there discriminately there. You see, those Air Force boys were reckless. There was even one of them who he took into his own accord, and he was shooting. So Rawlings made a mistake and went and shot somebody who was related to Rawlings. And then Rawlings told me to go and shoot him. And I said, why? What has he done? It's called W2 Kingston or Kingsley. Kingston. Okay. So it was one Boachi who went and shot him, called Boachi of Air Force. They went to a funeral.
The killing was just too much.
It was what they call collateral. They call it collateral damage.
The holy war?
Well, there's nothing called holy, but you can give it any name, unless otherwise you can just brainwash the people like they did to us. So they say it was holy, which it wasn't holy. It wasn't only Ashantis who died or Northerners, everyone to die. So it was across board, you see. And so it was a sad situation.
Okay, all right.
Your father also said he met with a champion's wife and further added, the children of these heads of state have matured. Now, my oye sad war in semi nyani there. Also share oye general champion one pain when baby call. No more careful. I know bon komo. Na some way somehow no ko hun there. Dam mo from no anadam amampin funu dam ko funu yiyi won fi won nya no. Won ba no why there? Why better say to some extent be one can way but I don't can person brainy be din baby I see there why better say. Nti me sa waka o papa no ho asemi a ugbefu pan na te se bi anko bi yi ni fi wo na to 40 years impa bet na TV do and radio do kedo oh our Dr. Zanetor oni unyanum nya wa ta ase to some extent like why okay with data e be okay ya one decision one order in less than 24 hours in less than an hour or whatever or let's say in less than some hours, no, minutes, seconds, that order no will take key for one breadwinners, one papa no fee asasido. Onye iwa like obi also that there other second call one another wire and I will be shooting but when you want to bone to no question I'm saying be so the doc. Oh papa, also na be president. The baba dam question do. But yen try na you understand enye maybe kakra. According to papa, I say during the champion and those heads of state and generals now say be you won fi won. What enye maybe I say.
All right. There's a photograph that I saw of you and Faustina Champon.
Yes.
Mrs.
Right.
General Champon's wife. I think just a few years ago. What were you talking about? Was she scolding you?
Oh, no. I think Mrs. Champon is one of those who must have understood the pressure and the tension of those days. You know, besides, we knew each other. Besides, my mother was in charge of the housekeeping of the government structure, the government, yes. So I knew Mrs. Champong, you know.
Your mother, Mrs. Abuti.
Yes.
Madam Abuti.
Yes, you know. And incidentally, she's a matured good-hearted person.
Did you talk about her husband?
No. Maybe someday we may, but not on this occasion. It was at a funeral. What's his name?
SS Omanis, the former IGP SS Omanis funeral.
Yeah. You know.
Was it a cordial conversation between you?
Very much so.
Civil conversation?
Yeah, very civil. No. I like that woman. I like her.
Do you feel any regret when you meet a widow like that? You know.
No. I feel sad about it, but no regrets. We had no choice but to do what we did. Anything short of it would have been inviting trouble.
You know, these men, everything you said notwithstanding, these men were husbands, they were sons, they were fathers.
Yes.
You think about their children, how they felt then and how they feel now.
Yeah, some of them, I think, grew to understand the nature of the situation and don't hold it against me, you know. And I'm glad that we have such matured people in relation to that situation.
Nyame Inshan Kennedy, mene ankasa mankasa muahi. During that interview, yeah, done documentary, no. Mene Jimmy Champion number ebi me wano twetwe nkomo. Things am working.
No, I have not overcome the pain. It's gotten easier, but I will never forget this pain.
I think you deal with closure progressively. You deal with it all the time. It's never going to go away. But you just learn how to handle it and make the most, what situations you have. And importantly, try and do things that would be a credit to my father. And you just manage, as you go along, and yes, you'll never get complete closure, but you just manage.
Kuku, anamba yodi. Sati. Ashawana, why they are so okay with it. Though the into with the G one pepe feel. This interview may be on par. Especially Anthony Couture Champion. Okay, also in your film. I can't pass some drea on Penwas innocent that them documentary. No, easy. Because on pay I did be a lot of controversy on a so peaceful a person. But to have been there, the man who won't some album that show. Do you know the kind of pain they are going through? Me interview do baby name you say be me name lose. The team. I did be honest in your man. My yena on open old wounds. Because that name Jerry Rawlings no. Waba or the memories CBP adeba. Say be wait me no be or yeah below 30 years now. On thing man no be about 40 years or 50s. Damn yamano, obeke 1K kwa 1 2 3 bi obeke. Afi no yambra awana what different opinion on the matter. But before I'm about the matter no, Black Rasta or corner for the canasem to them American who be up maybe below 30 years no. History maybe an better kakra. But to be a no win them soldier time in your suban. Now someone saw them democracy in your social suban. Anya ibinum men Canada. Because I'm born police here. The police funding them chrome 2000 yeah. Because anya soldier kutin any tina discipline go grow. Time make one them democracy nya for that military discipline nya from bra. The Panaman or toto nyama rough for the toto. Na ma from my young kwasede wakaka wase human right, child right. Kwase sam goten afrabo no so wotwa na be na adwene adwuma no straight. Chemo kwado parliament. Sebio in the parliament abe the zoo, Sebio, abe the zoo, Sebio. Castle Bodan Fibiano, there a whole House of Parliament no be free be within House of Parliament. House of Parliament no MPs kutuku. Hey, Justice DFN and that time me who the madi be. Justice DFN and that time me who the madi be da. Parliament. Obi afa no honorable member. Na won mundu wo nde ugbe jeni ni ala. Ye team a Black Rasta King.
Rawlings was a soldier who went into a bloody coup d'etat, shot and killed many in order to gain power. Should we give him a bouquet of flowers for the coup d'etat that saw the lives of many? Have we so soon forgotten our history? The bloodiest coup d'etat that ever happened in this nation was instituted by Rawlings. He killed many in order to become leader of this nation. Is that not a murderer? So I am wondering why there's so much noise. And the coward MP who also mentioned it and cannot own up and come out and say, hey, I said it and these are my reasons for saying that. That is the most cowardly, more cowardly than Baumia. If I had the opportunity to stand before these chiefs, I will honorably ask them to tell me how you would define or call a man who murdered many in order to become leader. In whose regime innocent judges were carried out, including a woman, killed and set ablaze at Bondazzi. Why can't we speak the truth anymore? What is wrong with us? Zanetor is the daughter of a murderer. That is correct. But does that make her a murderess? No. She cannot inherit the crimes of her father. Do we understand that? But that does not mean she is not a daughter of a murderer. She is. Let us call a spade a spade. Should we call Zanetor the daughter of a pastor or the daughter of a reverend or the daughter of a saint? No, we saw the bloodiest violence in this country in the reign of Rawlings. Many people went down the drain. In my days as a little boy, anytime Rawlings' name was mentioned, we all ran under the bed. I was only 5 at the time Rawlings took over power in 1979. My brother, my sister, we have seen so much bloodshed in this country, all in the days of Rawlings. And today, if his children are being described as the children of a murderer, and we are crying, Anglo chiefs are all coming out, they want to know that these are disparaging remarks. What is disparaging about a murderer whose children are called the daughters and sons of murderers? Do you think that they would ever call the daughter or the sons of Kwame Nkrumah sons and a daughter of murderer? A murderer? Would they ever say that? No, because Nkrumah murdered nobody. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, there was nothing like capital punishment ever endorsed by Kwame Nkrumah.
Seti. I tell you, I can't pain. It is Dr. Zanetor Rawlings. You be a me pewasem papa me share with that. Me hu de. Yeah, me hu. But me can me share that. Me fo share bon komoda. However, me some kofuo bu no na me set no. Maintain that dignity in them. But baby wo ho a de lura e be open wounds. Stones ababa odino entu me ngina because eyi bottle eyato ebe wienu na wan kese gina ho na hu da akaka asem nsere ya ka sebio ni sema nkofo beka no Kennedy beka os mumuni ade amenye ne sema meka no Kennedy ejopo na so ayata akaje ebe invite stones unnecessary stones edama ho some external force on eni be na akotwen edama ho mesa adwon ho no dwon ho. Because the moment able boy them chapter no, a bama them head of state one be nia waka don so gang up against you. Ain't to me Some of us talk to some of them. But I don't think more why my men kada master me venture Captain So them pieces some your documentary on to corner cafe pieces some mobile them videos in your documentary. Also share Boachijan will be saying there. What is this about executing people? Don't you know tomorrow will be called a murderer? Don't you know tomorrow will be called a murderer? As if they're not a prophesy. The mean tell you no so many years no with an name. Dan will be an wire course in Captain So. But I had a privilege of speaking to CDS for this, that. I know many casino. Tell you, as some okay. Now the master no can don't you know tomorrow will be called a murderer? One be my oh papa. Obi anu ojo papa ni mo aka the master no channel to the best of my knowledge. I stand to be corrected. But rather no okeka kan one chen. But obi anu otum anu papa she baby no aka the you are a murderer. Man ti bibi dam. I will no be catch up. Tell ma Captain So I catch up Boati Jant no. Damn time no. Tia sama Captain So okay.
When you was a ahead of the execution of a champion was executed with Utuka. Kote and the rest were executed. There were 2 executions also. Perhaps I would have died because when I heard of the execution, I started driving towards Birmingham. I didn't know what I was going to do because my blood was boiling. Then I met Wachijan at the Survey Department Junction, Lands Department traffic light. I knew him, so I stopped. I stopped him. I think, if I remember very well, the words I used on it. What is all this nonsense about executing people? Don't you know that tomorrow they will call you a murderer? And he was shocked. He said, oh sir, but this is the list, we're going to announce more executions. And I think he entered the vehicle, turned around. That was the end of the execution.
As some can the interview in the movie, and I'm making him say, but for me, it was wrong. A decent person like be Beijing Parliament back at them. But you pass so academy so I a coward. Won't in John and I'm not making. But the master walk I today, who's that chair? Who's that chair until this day? Baby, and you pass so cannot turn a cannon for. The master the miss we shut up, sit down, daughter of a murderer until this very day. So when I walk at them, put the one who at least them cast and come Bianca or Parliament or them 200 and some 70 something or Bianca, no record, no one compare, no one share percentage. No, the match not today will be in Pakol. Another baby, I didn't feel but my uncle Fina want to know Bianca will be in Pakol. But at long run, her Miss Wong who said chair. The master who will be a Kadamasa. Damn identity with the Bogo. Rather unfortunate, that statement should not have been made at the floor of Parliament. No, so I'm covering them. Now, you tell one walk there. Oh, papa, on yet murderer, another on yet Udifo Sebio. I want one point in it. Today, champion, I don't know. From that 70s, no, that 79, basic time I am Papa Rawlings Ofimino. Obia and your Rawlings to Kajina courts. They will go yimpa into one chin into evidence be any baby Adam. It is a catcher Papa and a murderer. On what basis I deka, though it wouldn't. because court bi ani baby pointer ibinum mreka ha wojina do awode kadam kasane the court bi ani baby ara okay there young Papa Rawlings or you would differ the meeting you know am I from so was also more beautiful no what today be obi aso nyu a onya akukudu na akaka che papa na okeje n'ani do you differ to them American. So for me, that statement now called if you want to, are very wrong. No nyada osedan ka obandam. Iti I so akadamo. That is the pointer. We jando awade kede papa no. One, there's no court, single court. Biya nyiwa. Aka eche papa dey. Or a murderer. But I have a very important question and send my call. My last topic, A Kwamben or Papa Fodo at the president. We have many types of coup. So many types of coups. Coups in one, types of coups in Dawson. We have a lot of coups. A champion, that type of coup at the bar office, a bloodless coup. A kuwa muje biala engu. Because this is the same person what Trinidad and Tobago, he had a chance. Not to blockade that thing, execution was a mutinous via what can the madden okromo. No waka one person. And of number 20. Onyaka there won't could uncle from Obokwan. General Champion. That's 1971. That's what I know. A dolphin muja obogu party on pay. Now so be on pay moja no the for into new to 2 or a buziano. There was nothing like bloodshed. A gentle way, but actually documentary now, make now. I want young page you now. A bone hour, a cool. But your father's own was bloody. Ukunyimpa, nyimpa mojegui. Kunyimpa. Into America, do not open old wounds. Into one can say you want the Kwamben or Papa offered to be a president. A Kwamben no offered to be a head of state. A Kwamben, Muhammad, you said a Kwamben Baka Tono Daba. During Trump and Zambia, there was nothing like bloodshed or coup, but it was bloodless. But over panic, a bloody coup. I'll try in a 1 year, no. Why then watching it too? Why down Kobe no Hujumano? And now, the Free African Movement, free na Boachijan and Nasa from Swaka and Hujuma. General Mason Numunade. As man mutu champion, da coco. Man mutu. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and wedding. We'll pay you with the mom. Here for us. And so about PNDC later. Mochi abe NDC. There is some accurate command or okay in some P now. Our church in some but do not open old wounds. After Yambra Parliament. Did you call over Parliament? In fact, Menuajo na MPB country, Mumbo Nidin. Why shall I bomb Mumbo Nidin? A country of Parliament. Ghana Cassan or Ken. Now, don't know about them clip ya on the day. Oh, you know. And I speak and interpret Cassanaiden. Okay. Much a chim so broful. You crow you claim they are independent. But for someone, no, Bofus one, they did one. Bofu. Shemagano crew what it's why, Bofu. You are because a young Voltarians, one can say, I nana, you break us in Yakibiwaha, Dagumba Kasa Kibiwaha, and Krankasa Kibiwaha, Fantia Kibiwaha, a Quapeminia, a Ghana Casa. But Casa, a dominant language behind the Kaka, so being put up a tree. A Pamija, me yet as Antony, but Mijitum, the Tricasa, the air Dana, Tricasa, the Massa. Oko baby. Now, so I can a national language, but also English. Now, then do you call yourself an independent state? England of no one for no why no Bonina Tenukrum, why new chrono international language to the extent that local was due to Muchona can Yaman want to. Now we talk about Bayan Catch on the one who see how we pronounce certain words in tree. Another what Ghana case be. Now I catch I will speak here to I catch a Benty there. Cassan or can or interpret no, but for now walk no. One in so be cheap at our China constituent no. And I want constituency so whom I could do. Various constituencies are all Ghana woman no work ruffle. Parliament. To the extent the vetting away will be kept say you know it's unparliamentary. Everybody is unparliamentary language, unparliamentary to speak your own language in the House of Law in a country that claims to be independent. Are we serious? Yatu aba ne yatu aba ne yadamo one ewia. One ke ya do aba ma omanu ya kwaso nti na ndem ahye me no tatele mi gina he. Ye one. Eyi ngoma ehu da ya bi bibidi. Ne na mba be sha no me kan abade. Not kasa. Yes. I'm not say. No mdu bo mi si. Ye one. Say impa no ofi voto, ofi noto, ofi hino ye one. Trika sandi ya pe engine tum or dominant language. Na father language is so infan kan na enfia. Obi fi Germany e no go Volta region on tuni ni ne Ghana ni wo do apen onya no foreigners. Why do you band them? Unless they be an Nura account dominated Arabia and Sana. Now so Eko Germany, that's a German so obon komawo e be foreigner. Africa, Ghana. Omi yinende ho. Nti the MP ayade share clip no.
And bring my contribution in the local language tree. Yo, order 63.
Are you going to do the interpretation in English?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
If you can do that, but why do you want to do it in tree?
My constituents have told me severally that they want to hear or understand most of what we speak about in Parliament in the local language. So if I can indulge you on that, I would really appreciate it.
Is that so?
Yes, please. Right. Mr. Speaker, Didin Kameda Yunyaba Aye Felicia Ajay Sir Ode and some here we are to now kakra me pese me kan yakwan enye dodona enye ewo Ghana ha and afi ye street light ye maame no eka bebre efa tourism ho ye nim sene tourism eboa krubia sene itimide sika eba ema economy no emu epija now mefa kwanya we so no masa atwe aban na dwen asi se ye nyina nim se ye vice president ye maame Jane Nana Opoku oye oba na ya na etode bia ya sefem se wonnam ba bi te se East Legon ene mia bibre a ye nuanom ma sene omo asalai ewo kwan ho a ya na ade ya semfem eni timi hu ni se ebetimi afa akwanya bi so na yetu maifo sene be ya omunjeja kwan ho se bi obi wo ha bi we free America we free UK wate Ghana opese obeji nani kakra wo Ghana opese o visit tourism sites na ohu enema bi sei ana face ye street lights bebre unam a enjajuma enti emma ya na kronu mani gie no ya na nipa bebre nheda enya ne saa enti me fa kwanya we so na matwe aban no adwen asi problems a efa yakwan a bebre enye efa ye street lights bebre asese and afi ya na se ne hu emma bebre ejina ekwan ho a ebia ase omunye dwuma bia barase sebi basibra na omobo ne de etu omofo se enya no nko na adwuma on betimi aye e wo Ghana mamu ha aninti sabrei mesa ato aso aka se wo ba bi te se asante achim no hwidiem kura fro hwidiem a hwidiem ye waterfalls e wo ho ye pese
ye krakra ni ye sane be ya asante achim no fo so tourism ni bi ebetumi apagya wo ho oba ba bi te se onyemso a wa asante achim no fa also so ye waterfalls ni bi wo ho a enka yesuzu se aban no de nani kɔ ho a ebetumi aboa ama tourism wa asante achim no fo so apagya. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. If you want me to
do the interpretation for us.
Okay, right.
To work at a constitution review and make them about doing my baby a whole program no. We say them kasa English but them po actually a rub bank be na address kama temper my address need you ana ekeka mpacho. Good afternoon hwehwe obi wa na obetumi abonidin. Hello sir, we cannot hear you, please can you interpret? Ha baby wo ko ewura kan ya katwi kwa hwe no bi a hwe ni some way ebe Ghana ye na yan kese yo. So I respect my former news editor Benjamin Apiakwe Kanto, then another friend. Or call Mumbo company meeting, one of these telecommunication companies, very popular by Mumbodi. All do an awesome patron, share so smisui. Ladies, please sit down. What's a one? Me patron, share so smis. What? No, look, lady, what the hell do you take me for? A China lady, no, I say by force, I pay me a bofa. And son, lady, ne pecho. Manga something be me fro be some car rental company be. Miss me kechi. I'm Kwamanka Fancy. I say, please, I don't understand the language. The normal language that we use in discussing business, transacting business is English. So please, if you may. I'm so, wow, it's unfortunate. I don't also understand and I can't express myself in English. The only words that I can express is what I've just said. I'm catching that. Don't ever say that again. I say, go America, go England. Ko China we be aka no krom kasa ko force for akọ school in the parliament say be why in the zoo say be why in the zoo akra aka boys mo na wo ye wo de second na kutuku ade na wo so da ma de fin ye mpanyimfo kutuku na okraba na afegua ni wo da shop everade yesu honorable member Ghana's parliament ebe Speaker Backbend, they're very principled and very strict. Well, from the days a DF Anan, the papa went baby ko. I'd buy see, I'm there, say he was in the time. I'd buy a Brownford, I do mana they do a job now when I see Funiano. I mean, damn, you may be. Time I also super by a minority leader or parliament. I think 2000 after J2 so be them a blessed memory. Me who down you maybe. Why? What happened to my beautiful Ghana? The parliament. Obi ofra no hu de enyumnyamfo. Wa fi egwa. Mempen. No wa tu egwa no. Hey, wontutu no obi jo. Wontutu mic no. Hey. Ha. Oh, in fact, and American we need military discipline. I can go free where you want not to go gunya we back. We are for the next one, you know, salary, no dim. We need military discipline. We go crown how they say. Bia swala no aswa cameras in him. No afa. Share young papa na nado. No matter what you say or whatever thing you do, no. We demand it before. Oben we demand it. Or show mine do. Or yen maybe so or yeah one yen ye. The man young papa mahama so sweet demand do that. No asan swaba. Now so kwabanu to me so phone. So start to election mahama oba na na do oba. Ana o session oba there. Or start there. Oh you wet. If that person begins to insult these leaders, you but wonder, how did we get here as a country? We don't respect our elderly people. Even the president himself respect another. Because to the best of my knowledge, man channel crab action more than 10 to 15 years. After that, yeah, Papa Mahama, we used to certain word to be against another or respect. Sebu, you know, paying. A man baby mkampo to akara and papa. Now so politics in tea. Yes, Mahama over, yes, and another over. Now paying for now. Would the end this MPP chino? Wobo. My final story is on Ken Furata. This I said OSP was declared wanted, Moboa. But Momo on history, kitty. Damn, Oraya, what to ya one no MPP. Yeah, you get to MPP and this no one at the same. We know. But I did Biana also earlier saying this no power is not permanent. In time, will be Biana Fenchem. Now, do the time. I often and Papa J. Kufo. Tell I am Nanado, Attorney General, what happened? Obey and obey fast track court. In Yama fast. Finance Minister Kwame Pepra, what do you do for about 4 years? Victor Salome, Deputy Finance Minister, what do you do for 10 years? Unfortunately, at the one I have started or Banana 48 in the independence anniversary of Ghana. Kofo, Mercy Abadaba, they are signing a wedding. Obayano Bobowi, Victor Salome, Deputy Minister of Finance during the Rawlings administration. And if you ask now about Taye, don't fast track if you are. Ora also Abba. Ena OSP so Mawana Nadu na Ojino. Yipana Nana Nadu Ojino. Kenfurata and also declare wanted. Mata was a America. No home for. At the time, no Victor Salome, the same thing that no home fund. Now, so I do not know. Maybe I said, don't finance one, the miscash or pay the miscash or because come with friend your problem or Victor Salome your problem or now also be a problem. I've been to a fantasy for a very handsome guy, our parliament, young guy. Us when you not carry your own cross. Now you MPP new, but us allow him to carry his own cross. Abedinsa. Come work and you maybe no in tea. We declare wanted. Eke Ibrahim Adams. Eke Dan Abudapi. Eke Wonyala. All these people, them fast track courts now, do dear them coffee on you easy. And so I am Papa Chikata. Same with Yasita. Yasi. Same. Abu Boba. Dama. Now when they buy a wa. I know be kind. The man will be on John Becker. I stand with. The man I stand with Nunje. Because you can't bear no. Them video no. I mean, pay videos in baby and come up Boba. Turn away who. People that's more cause. Them I stand as to be in stand with Obia because can bear now lead no. I won't call for a one. Maybe Musu and watching one. Into the uncle from Beijing, which no, they should stand with you. If you ask her, your home, the same finance ministry, no, ni Victor Salome, when you got to. I want to die when a womb. Yaba, kaka. We na and Chebiana Pepe, Shum, Deputy Minister, Obi, Kwame Propana, and Niti. Ibrahim Adams, somebody, the former Minister of Agriculture, baby. Fast track courts. Ken Ofuriata, I also saw time in Mowesi. Sir Power Kitawa, anytime I catch on the man for court, no police, and phone on Kofo. Because power is never permanent. I did be you been there no. Within 8 years no, Nanya Massisa. Into one also end this for one can say and one should be, especially Joyce Bao Muntari. Man paying the cousins and sisters Abadabade. Aya, now I shall say kakra. Aye, madam, because it to bomb sometimes we should power ya permanent. Tin ya botel. Yemu be me aka. Obi say MPP ni, obi say NDC ni. They be American. They be my dano as a journalist. That is my job to say it as it is. But I have to also make sure that in doing and performing my responsibility, I don't go overboard by giving false information. I need to teach the correct thing, present facts, and make sure I educate, entertain, and transform to inform. That is my job as a broadcast journalist. Finally, after Adio Adadia, I say 2025 Independence Day celebrations to be held at the presidency or at Jubilee House. What are we even celebrating about? Into them very idea of Felix Mamunia working. Many agenda, so I'm paying down always in Arjuna. saluting akakafi ina yakwa cage independence kwanko fo beji wo twahwe no president to John Tenten what's our cost in $59 million or say million Ghana cedis or say am cause come hubo able to make a offended Jubilee House who a speech there's nothing to celebrate about because we are not fully independent. That's also a case about free one same view. No definitely who go to nature and here who are you na here share who you to one in and woman here employed. Shemanyama ye inde ubia gwan epem won fa ship and epem base won kede ubia edo Ghana $100 million ni abochi ni ebo nkofo bogo na kese play na ship ni why you are saying that you are independent. Ghana is independent oh. Yeah, we are still under bondage. Even the national language you can put ye nibi to extend the work of work say or parliament also unparliamentary. We know the rules. Nti so I'm paying the Damadi by your Juma, measure how obey, and I hope they be abokodo. I had and them the Jumezinia Midibesi. Name also be beyond there. Waitum, William Bell, na waiting. Jumezi, I want to offer a call, Mamma Bro, your hawk investigations, more than in the Albany shame. Investigations are pano, wabayamo, provided there. Within one power or bubble. From 020-228-3252. Why are the papa? If you show me bia or bay bia one no quando. What I'm on. Into but more than the urban investigation if you show more. A pedawayama or bayamo. The maso and a bay quan a basic done. Be another a player going to estates and young enya and here na embebe naza. Hey, I'm here to be a pebia or the bomb. But more than that, Bedford and coffee where Wako 050-5714-871. Number no go on. From one won't be added into one of our butching up a project. One phrase is here, my actually made me fair. I was safe. I had it. Na frɛ na bibia onkodo Mizende Enoch Iju Dawasi dem nyame ino se da yaka asembe yaka wa habia no yaka no tira moti se efi de yaka bibi na wan ya woda fechen anatwe na adwunje do ye be en pepepe because he is sunsun se ya chance be demanda mehunde tumu no forever wasisa tum to them kwa ende wafro yimpa ade cha wafro ade no won fanka hye ho mpe de sini ancha na ye ncheche meda wona ase na mi on hwe bia meda kofi ansa makai a obo mi chido bye bye.